Hello, hello everybody. This is Angel Arts, and welcome to a brand spanking new campaign, brand new faces, a brand new generation of heroes. This is session 0 of Mass Effect, the Mass Effect Season 2 campaign. Still has yet to be officially titled, mostly because it's in the very, very early stages. I have only just begun thinking about the story. I've only just started collecting everybody's character backgrounds. I only had just announced who the players were last week as of this recording, so there's still a lot of prep work to be done. However, I didn't want to delay in getting all the players to start interacting with each other, which is the main purpose of a Session 0. For those of you who are new to my channel or new to how I do tabletop campaigns, we always try to do a Session 0 ahead of time, and the purpose of this is to, again, start having all the characters, or the players rather, bond together, get to know each other before we actually start the campaign, so that that chemistry can begin ahead of time. I didn't want to delay that. It also gives us a chance for you, the viewers, to get to know who the players are, who the characters are, before we actually start the campaigns proper. And it also, at least off camera, gives us a chance to help each other learn the system, build our characters, on our character sheets, so that we all can, together help each other in figuring out how all of this works. So we are going to be playing the fan-made Mass Effect 5th edition, which is actually different from the platform that we did in Season 1. So it's going to be really interesting and fun, I think, to learn a new system. I'm a big fan of D&D 5th edition, so hopefully this is going to be a very good transition and all good stuff. But anyway, that's enough me talking. I want to get the other 4 talking, which is the main purpose of this. This is what you all really wanted to see. So,
please no, I'm not ready, Hark.
So we're gonna start with I guess we can call it a warm-up question, but we'll be asking several icebreaker questions. The first question is, I'd like for everybody to go around and introduce themselves, remind us again where you guys are from, tell us briefly, Mikey, briefly, about yourself.
No promises, Hark.
Okay. And then your preferred pronoun to be referred to as, and then finally, who your character is and what inspired you. What was the inspiration behind your character? So, which one of you would like to go first?
Sure, I can go first. Might as well, right? My name is Mikhail Bayati. The character I'll be playing is Dia Irons, a Tyrian Drake Queen. And what brought up my inspiration for her is, basically too much Drag Race. Watching too much of RuPaul's Drag Race every day and just gossiping about it with my friends. And then I like how lots of the, especially drag queens, have bigger than life personalities, which allows me to have some fun. And so I was like, yeah, I picked that. I decided to go with that, and yeah, that's my character in a nutshell. That's my inspiration. Okay, I'm he them pronouns are fine with me.
He them. Okay.
And yeah, I guess I'm just a nasty ass bitch ready to have fun. So. It describes me in a nutshell, really.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
I mean, I might as well get it out of the way since you want to be a quickie, Hark.
Go right ahead.
So I love you, Hark. So my name is I'm Michael Redmond. I'm from Ireland. I
couldn't tell. Really?
No, you couldn't? Really? You couldn't tell? No? Okay. I may improve upon my Irishness. I may get some whiskey in here. But I play Nathan Callahan. He is a biotic bodyballs player. I like sports. Surprise, surprise. I don't really like Irish sports. I like American sports more, and When in the Citadel DLC, when they mentioned Biotoball, I was like, that seems cool. That's something I want to get involved in. Nathan himself kind of came from this. A lot of the interactions in Mass Effect 3 between Shepard and the kid who just sort of haunts his dreams for a long time. Like, I wonder, what's it like being as a kid who survived the Reaper Wars and got to see all this, and kind of grew himself out of the dust that was left behind, especially in a big city like Dublin. Um, but yeah, I'm fine with him or well, yeah, just him in general. Just male pronouns is fine with me. Same with Nathan, if you're curious. But yeah, I'm here to have fun and here to enjoy myself and here to make Hark blush instantaneously, like all the time, just on demand.
It already happened off camera. It already happened off
Yeah.
camera.
We will not repeat what we were talking about off camera.
For the sake of YouTube.
For the sake of YouTube, yes. I try to run a PG-13 show. Try to run a PG-13
it won't be
show.
PG-13 after this game.
At least as much as possible, not safe. At least as possible, safe for work. At least
keep it safe for work, folks.
Keep it safe for work, everybody. All right. There are people who listen to the campaigns at work, so please seriously keep it safe at work. Yes, please, seriously. I don't want to be responsible for anyone losing their job. Be like, who's that Irish? Is that Irish guy naked? Like,
100%, yes. Totally.
I'm pretty sure he has pants, but I don't know.
This is entirely green screened on. I'm not actually wearing any clothes right now.
Damn.
Okay, who would like to go next? Kiwi, it looks like you're burning to go next.
Yeah, I'll go. Hi, my name is Kiwi. I'm a French Canadian from Montreal. I go by he, him.
He, him, okay.
Yeah. My character is Vito Shepard Pix, a Solarian archaeologist, which happens to really, really like Indiana Jones. The character himself came from replaying Mass Effect 3 and going through that one side quest where you had to bring like a piece of equipment to Solarian so that he could like keep the eggs of a hatchery in the right temperature. And I thought about like, he says he's gonna name the firstborn after Shepard, and I'm like, I would like to see that kid. And that's where the character came from. Also, a lot of time spent grinding the archaeology thing in World of Warcraft, and it kind of happened. I was like, hey, that character could be an archaeologist. And then the Indiana Jones part came also from that, I guess.
Thank you, Kiwi. And last but not least, Astra.
Oh. Okay, let's see. My name is Leandro Nicolás Cabrio. I'm from Argentina. I'm currently working as a security guard. Let's see. I consider myself an artist. I'm repeating exactly what I said in the other video. But, yeah.
Some people might not have seen the auditions. They might just be watching this for the first time. So please.
But yeah, I don't think there is any other relevant things about me. I like to draw. I like to play video games. I like good stories. And yeah, the reason why I came with Gimmick was because I was thinking of playing a child character, a character that starts developing its personality as the game progresses and so on. But playing child characters is hard because they don't behave in the same way as adults do. So sometimes for someone that has already grown up, it's harder to try to play a character that is young as a young character would be in reality. So yeah, I thought another way to do this would be to make a character that has the soul of a child, so to speak. Yeah, I came up with the idea of an AI that starts from nothing and not from nothing, but with a very basic knowledge of the world and keeps growing from the people around him. So yeah. Also, I'm referred as he, but yeah.
I'm gonna start picking on people now. Well, I mean, I already started with Mikey, so I'm gonna start picking on Mikey first. Might as well, since I already started.
Thanks, Ark.
So, Mikey, why did I end up deciding to put you in this team, despite the fact that I knew that was going to be a horrifically horrible death wish in my blushingness?
I think you just mean it's going to embarrass you and actually have you like walk off camera to take a cold shower real quick. That'll literally be the only difference.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
We all know
it's
you
already
love
started.
it. We all know it.
This is only session 0. I haven't even started yet. All right.
This is great.
Mike, you know that Colin is like in the other room, so I hope you're aware.
just don't let him hear it. Don't accidentally plug out your headphones.
Mm-hmm. So, Mikey, in all seriousness, I believe, if I remember correctly, that you had the most thumbs up from the viewers, or at least one of the people. You didn't.
I didn't check, so I couldn't tell you.
You didn't check.
No.
Either you are the most, or you're one of the ones that have the most. The last time I checked. So clearly, a lot of the viewers found you to be a favorite, and you know it. I think it's pretty obvious. You're very charismatic. You're very charming.
Thank you.
You're comfortable. You're comfortable in front of the camera. You clearly have had role-playing experience. Watching you interact with Eric, watching you interact with Sesepia in character was very engaging. So whenever I try to do these campaigns, I, of course, first and foremost, try to give opportunities to people who have either A, never played in a tabletop campaign before, or B, have had very little experience, and give people a chance to play in something that they normally wouldn't have the opportunity to. That's not you, but in addition to that, I try to have at least one person who is experienced, to sort of balance out the players, somebody that we can turn to like look up rules or like know how the system works and things like that, who's done tabletop campaigns before, to sort of like help everybody else grow and learn. But of course,
what you're telling me is I'm a teacher here.
You're a teacher, but I also expect everybody else to teach you as well.
Yeah, I expect that too. Well,
So
Mikhail just had something very dirty burst into his head right now.
just like I, as a GM, am always also learning how to be a better GM, and I'm sure with every generation, every players, they always give me something new to learn about how to be better as a GM. So, in addition to telling you why I think you're wonderful in here, I also, at the same time, want to give each of you a challenge. You can consider this constructive feedback. You can consider this something to be aware of, because these are things. This, for example, is something that I specifically prepped Eric about. I don't know if you knew this, but before we did all the interviews, I pretty much told each person, this is something about this player that I have concerns about, and I want you guys to like cater the interview to like fish out some of the concerns just to see if I think it would work out. Mikey, do you have any idea what you think some of my concerns were about you?
Being too rambunctious, being too into everything, being a bit too loud, being a bit too me, essentially.
So you're aware.
Yeah. That's you see, I'm very self-aware in that sense, but I'm unfortunately unable to stop myself sometimes.
And well, at least you're aware. And to be fair, there are plenty of players that I have met who are not aware, and are very arrogant about their abilities and don't think that there's anything about themselves that they need to improve on. I don't think that's you. So really my challenge for you, Mikey, is just to continue to be aware that I love that you're such an outgoing person. I love that you're very charming and you love to entertain people. Knowing that there's 3 other people here, really challenge yourself to help elevate everybody else and give everybody else the spotlight and let everybody else have a chance to shine. And I know because your challenge is also my challenge for myself as well. In fact, I also have, it's very difficult for me to make sure that I don't dominate a conversation. Just yesterday, actually, my coworkers of mine gave me some constructive feedback on the very same thing towards me, because we were having an interview lunch with a candidate, and they felt that I sort of was dominating the conversation while we were interviewing someone. So I know exactly what that's like, and I try really hard to not dominate the things I'm doing in a group setting. So that is my challenge to you, and I'm fairly confident that you'll be aware of it. At the same time, that means for all the rest of you, I want the rest of you, to try to be as assertive as possible during this campaign, because I want you to help Mikey with his challenge too. If you guys try to be a little more assertive and you try to push yourself and elevate yourself, then Mikey doesn't have to feel like he has to pull back all the time.
Yeah, I will take your challenge on with righteousness, and I will attempt to help elevate other people while taking myself back a bit and letting other people enjoy being the center of attention.
Who wants to be picked on next?
Meeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch. No,
This is the assertive part, guys. The other three, the assertive part. You want to go next, Mikhail? All right.
Sure.
So, first of all, I loved your concept, Mikhail. Like, this is the creativity I was looking for. I told people in a previous video that my advice for prospective candidates was to try to pick a race that hasn't been represented yet, or B, if you do pick a race that's been represented before, like a human or a Turian, the bar is going to be a lot higher, because I need to look for something a little extra, and it's that much harder for you to get my attention unless you have some sort of really creative spin on it. Dia Irons had that, and when Matt and I was it you and Matt? Who did you interview with?
Yeah, me and Matt.
Yes, you and Matt were figuring out your interview. We wanted to explore a lot of aspects of Dia, and you were just watching your interview from Pokemon. I think I told you I instantly loved you as a person. Like, I think I said within the first 5 seconds, I was like, I'm gonna like this guy. Like, just in the first 5 seconds alone. You have a very infectious laugh, you have a very infectious smile, and all that good stuff.
That's like that. That's because I watched too much of Tyler Oakley in the early 2000s. Like, gotcha. Tyler, yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. For my challenge for you, so going into your interview, I was talking to Matt, and you actually addressed this yourself during your interview, in that you personally felt that in your first interview, since your first interview, you've matured a lot more. You've become a little bit more serious. You've become a little bit more, not subdued, that's not the right word, but you've toned it down a bit. And that was actually one of my concerns, because you were definitely one of the higher picks for me for the Pokemon campaign. I just wasn't sure if you were ready yet from a maturity level. I wasn't sure if you were ready yet to be a little bit more serious, because I love a lot of my campaigns, we get very fun, we get wacky, we get very silly, but I also am looking for focus, and I'm also looking for seriousness when seriousness needs to happen. And I felt that this year you definitely have matured a lot and grown a lot since last year.
It also helped that Matt really took the opportunity to force that out of me too. Force that more serious side out, like he did. A lot of the credit does go to Matt, because he did a fantastic job, especially with this bitch comment. Oh, that was beautiful.
my challenge to you actually has nothing to do with the maturity part. It's actually about your character. So immediately after your interview was over, I sat down with Matt, and we both agreed that while Dia is very entertaining, the best part by far of your interview was Logan. Like, once Logan came out, because before that, Matt was like, okay, he's doing his drag queen thing, yada, yada, yada. And sure, it's entertaining, it's amusing, blah, 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 blah. But then Matt was like, as soon as he started, like, bringing Logan out into the picture, like, Matt was like, that's when I got invested. Like, that's when I really started caring about the character, because Logan is a part of your character. So the thing that's interesting about Dia is that she's two characters in one, really. There's two sides of her, and they're both equally important. And while I feel like Dia is a good character to draw the player in, Logan is the character that makes us stay. Because I think Logan is what grounds your character. And I think that Matt and I care more about your character because of Logan. Because this is just as much Logan's story as it is Dia's. So my challenge for you is to not forget that. Don't forget Logan. I'm perfectly fine with however you want to play your character, where if you want to have Dia be prominently, the character that you're going to portray, but please remember that Logan is the one that we really, really, really want to see a lot of too. So, okay?
Yeah.
Hopefully. I think if Matt's watching, he'll agree with me with that. So.
Yeah, Matt sent me a message after, like, saying basically the same thing as you did.
Okay.
Like, how he really adored Logan more.
Yeah. Kiwi or Astra, which one of you wants to go next? Astra, you want to go next?
No.
No?
No.
Well, you went like this, so I'm going to take that as a you're going to go next. So, I have to say, I loved your interview a lot, Astra. Like, hands down, I think if I had to choose a favorite, it was probably that one. Mostly because that was by far the one that I laughed out loud the most. I don't know if you were paying attention to me, but I was constantly laughing during your interview, just because the concept of gimmick in and of itself was already interesting. But then, like, all of the childlike qualities that it had, and the gimmick of you giving pictures. And if you saw, I sort of like had a lot of fun with the images that Gimmick was putting up on the screen in post. I was like, that is so fun. I would love to have the opportunity to just stick up some random pictures whenever Gimmick like makes a reference to something. I think that after our interview with you, I talked to Matt afterwards again, and I told him I really care about this character. Like, and he's an AI. He's discovering this universe for the first time because he was created before Earth realized or discovered life on other planets. This is before, we found the mass relay and all that stuff. And just watching you discover all that and learn all that, and, it really got to me on a very personal level. And I'm like, I want to know more about this character. I want to see how this character, figures out things and learns things through the campaign. And I think it's going to give a really fresh perspective on this story, because when you're playing the game, everybody is already acclimated to the whole Mass Effect universe situation. Like, okay, we got aliens all over the place, and light speed travel and beyond is already a thing, but this is all new to you and shiny to you. And it was just so entertaining, and you're so funny. I don't even know if you were intentionally funny, but you were very funny.
So, I was trying so hard. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, so I left that thinking, okay, Astra's definitely going to be in. Like I probably don't even need to see all the thumbs up. Like, Astra's definitely in my book, if it were up to me, which it is. So my challenge to you, Astra. So
yes,
this is your third time trying out for a campaign. When I think the first time you tried out was Was it Dragon Age or Mass Effect?
Yes, Dragon Age.
Okay. When I first saw your interview in the first one was very different from your second one, which is also very different from your third one. Do you know what was different about them? Just out of
Yeah, I
curiosity.
think you mentioned a bit about that, but you said something about me being all over the place with the things I was talking about. Yeah, I lacked focus. So
Yeah.
yeah,
With your first one, I liked you personality wise. You seemed like a really fun person, but yeah, you seemed a little you seemed to like go every which way. It was hard for me to follow you, and it has nothing to do with the fact that, English is not your native language. I can understand what you were saying perfectly fine. It had nothing to do with that. But you were just kind of all over the place. It was hard for me to follow you, and I wasn't sure if that was going to be an issue when we were actually playing, if you would be a little distracting or distracted.
Yeah.
So then in your second interview, just like Mikhail, you're a lot more toned down. You sort of pulled it back a little bit. I started seeing a little bit more seriousness. Again, I love silliness, but I needed to see I need to see a foundation of seriousness along with the silliness there. And so
Yeah.
I felt that I started seeing that in the second one. But it was not to the point that I was comfortable yet to think you're ready to be in a campaign with me. Then I saw your third audition and I thought, okay, like Astra, he's a great guy. I love his animations. But do I think that I can put him in a campaign and he's not going to drive me crazy? So I was like, let me put him in an interview with Matt. And I pretty much told Matt the same thing. I told him, I want to see how focused he can be. I want to see how charming he can maintain. He can be charming but still focused. And I just sat there thinking, this is not what I expected. Like, I did not expect Astra to win me over like this so quickly and so. I loved you. I absolutely loved you.
You get the hashtag cute award.
Yes, you got the hashtag cute award. And again, Matt was like, he was focused. Like, I understood everything that he was talking about because it wasn't like all over the place. But, again, a lot of the charm of the randomness was in character, but it was still grounded. So my challenge to you is to continue in that trajectory of not losing your charm, not losing your sense of humor, but still like fostering that focusedness of it. And I think you're going to be ridiculously successful if you do that.
Thank you.
Be careful, I think you're blushing.
Last but not least, we have Kiwi. So, Kiwi, let me go back to the Pokemon auditions. I loved you in the Pokemon auditions. Loved you. And I was thinking to myself, I was going to be surprised if you didn't end up in the main Pokemon cast. Or even if you didn't, then it would have been really, really, really close, which it was. There was just something about you that I felt there was a sense of maturity. There was a sense of sweetness there. I got to see like a sense of heart there. I thought that you would be a very easy person to get along with. I thought you'd be a very easy person to play with. Those are, to me, I care more about that over like experience and, other things that other people might value more when it comes to picking players. I felt that your audition this year was so creative. I love the idea of having a Solarian, first of all, because we haven't had a Solarian PC. The whole Indiana Jones thing, like, just took it over the top. I love the concept. I'm super excited to see what you do with it. Me being an Indiana Jones fan, I'm very, very partial, I guess. So, and then just the way that you are able to role play as Charlie in the Pokemon spin-off cast, showed me that you were ready. So my challenge for you is I think that you are probably shyer people compared to Mikey. Putting you next to Mikey, I think you're the shyer of the two. Again, there's nothing wrong with being less outgoing than Mikey.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with being less outgoing than Mikey. So my challenge for you is to really push yourself and your character as much as possible. If there's awkward silence, try really, really, really hard to be the one to fill in those awkward silences. And I know that that can be easier for other people, but I think that that will help you grow as a player. Because a lot of people play these games, these tabletop campaigns, because they want to try to be better with their social skills, want to be a little bit more assertive, want to be less passive. And I think that you should take that opportunity and run with it. So, do you agree, disagree? Okay.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Sweet. Awesome. So, now that we've put all of you under a lampshade or under an inspector's light, I want to ask you guys a question, and this is a question I always ask every session 0. What do you personally, as a player, what are you hoping to get out of this experience? What are you looking for from this campaign? What are you looking for from each other? What are you looking for from me? What are the things about this campaign that you are hoping to get out? Yes.
Shall I go first? Because why not?
Yes. Why not?
Well, what I'm looking for you, Hark, is more of the same. Like, I'm looking for more fields. I'm looking for more intriguing NPCs. I'm looking for a great storyline. The usual, essentially, that I've come to expect from you from the last, 4 years of watching you now? 5? Something like that? God. Wow. Anyway, moving on. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of that. I'm looking forward to making friends with these 3 people on the internet that I've never met before, other than a few random occasions and a bit of chatting on Discord. Looking forward to showing that I can be controlled and of myself, and that I can help spread the spotlight, that I can find a good middle ground, essentially, and that what I'm looking forward to the most from everyone else is seeing how they show their characters off, and how they find their not niche, but find their moments in time where they can be like, all right, it's time for me to shine and step forward here without any kind of edging on or any kind of little bit of a push, that kind of way. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Thank you, Mikey. Yeah, fill in the awkward silence. Yes. Yes.
What I'm looking forward to this whole campaign is definitely the story. I want to give people a good story. I want to see a good story out of this. There's also the fact that I can, well, I've already been growing with the audition, with the interview. I want this to make me into someone like is somewhat more of a social butterfly. I want to make friends. I want to have this whole campaign be an amazing experience, and I already know it will be.
Puppy love, baby, puppy love.
I'm never gonna live that down, am I?
No, you're not.
Damn it.
Neither will ice cubes.
Okay. I'm lost, and I'm not sure I want to know.
Yeah, I'm not Astra or Mikhail, who would like to go next?
You want to go, Astra? Okay,
Oh,
I'll go
okay.
first.
Okay, Astra's pointing at you, so I'll let you go, Mikhail.
Well, as I pointed out, the original Mass Effect campaign is what got me into roleplay, because I love watching it. I've mentioned this several times already, but truly, I just want another moment that makes me cry. I want to have fun, and for me, fun in gameplay, it's not just only cracking jokes but it's actually being in a campaign in which you can be serious. There's emotions, and whether that's sad, serious, or what have you. For me, that all encapsulates for me as fun. And honestly, I haven't been in many campaigns in which there's actually any real emotion. Actually makes me tear up, really that invested in a character. And you have, with your last campaign, made me very, very invested. And especially when you look at the other players, when emotional stuff happens, they're invested too. And so I'm excited. I want to feel those emotions, like Mikey said, and I just want to have a good time with a bunch of people.
Astor, you're last.
Okay, so first of all, I think you have a really uncanny skill to attract really incredible people. So being part of a party with a lot of people like you guys, I would I love this. So, and secondly, I think I had a lot of bad luck when it comes to campaigns. Most of the time, people just leave, or so you have a really good track record when it comes to stories. So I really wish to get to play a whole story, a really good one. So yeah, let's make something great.
My expectations. So, of course, I'm looking for a group of players who are passionate, not only with the story, but also with their characters and each other's characters. I want to see you guys being passionate, not only with what's happening with your character, but other people's characters. I want to see a group who cares about each other, who sees each other, a very, family-like group. I want to see a group of players who feel like they're in a safe place, who feel like they can be themselves, who feel like they are able to have the opportunity to grow as who they are, while having fun with this campaign. I want a group who also is able to communicate fearlessly if they feel unsafe or if there's things going on in the campaign that they think could be improved. I would like players who are able to fearlessly communicate either with me as the GM or with each other, and have us be able to maturely address any issues that may arise off camera or whenever is appropriate. I'd like a group of players who, again, wants to have fun, who are able to crack jokes every once in a while, but they don't let it become too overwhelming that it distracts from what's happening in the campaign. I love silliness, I love joking around, but I also want there to be some level of focus too, and I want players to be able to understand when too much is too much and when they're being too distracting. Other expectations is, I want people to feel, committed to this. And as Astor said, I always want to try to make sure I can see this, campaign to the end. And I want to be able, I love how international of a group we are. It's always, every single time we do this, there's people all over the world. And I think that's amazing. It's so beautiful. And yeah, I just want to be able to come up with a story that you guys will be satisfied by. Not one that you necessarily will always be happy in, because that's not going to happen.
I'm gonna need to go buy a box of tissues again, aren't I?
Yes.
Here's some virtual tissues just for you.
But I think if there's a way that we're able to experience all levels of emotions, all different types of emotions, anger, sadness, passion, fear, all of those things, all of those elements, and of course, like silliness and joy and randomness, I want it all to be in this, campaign at some point. So those are some of my major goals, and hopefully people who are watching will have fun too. So while we're doing it, cool. So the next portion, I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any questions for me as a GM? Maybe even teaser questions about the story. So I'm not going to spoil anything for you. And I'm just going to preface this by saying I'm still figuring out the main plot elements. I have some random ideas because it's still pretty early on. I'm still actually finishing up the Pokemon campaign, and I'm still writing the Pokemon's epilogue, so I'm going to be taking care of that for the next several weeks. But I'm starting to think about surface things for the story. So I don't know if there's anything about the campaign or anything of the story that you players wanted to ask that I could tease about, but not necessarily give you any spoilers for it. Yes, Aster, go ahead.
Okay, so you mentioned before that you plan to make something like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like
Yes.
a bunch of stories all tied up together. You have
Yes.
any like plans for that already?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
So the current plan right now, if I'm able to, is I think that once I reach the 10th campaign mark, I think this is campaign number 5, if I remember correctly. Once I reach the 10th campaign mark, I will probably retire at that point, probably. And I think the 10th anniversary, 10th campaign will be a very Infinity War-esque kind of campaign where I'm going to bring back players, invite all of the players from all of the previous campaigns to participate in one giant multi-dimensional, multi-parallel universe story. And people are going to ask, how are you going to do that? Because that's like, what, 50, 60 some players? Well, it's because, one session might be a session with these 4 players, and these 4 players might not be all in the same campaign. Like, I might have a mix of, Kiwi and Dylan and Shali. Like, you guys are going to be playing this session because that's what's happening in the story. And then in another session, it's going to be another set of 4 players, but they're all going to connect to each other into one big, giant campaign. That's the plan right now. We'll see if I ever get to that point, because this is only session 5. But I already have all of the next several campaigns planned. So after this campaign is going to be the Harry Potter campaign. After the Harry Potter campaign is going to be Dragon Age Season 3. That'll probably be the last Dragon Age campaign. Probably. After Dragon Age Season 3, I have another campaign that I don't want to reveal yet because it's kind of spoilerish if I reveal it. But I will say, though, that I have things in the Pokemon campaign right now that's setting up for that campaign. So I'm already looking ahead. But yeah, I already have timelines.
It's like back in the classroom again. God damn it. But how much political drama or tension are we going to be in? Is it going to be thick from the really beginning, or are we going to ease into it?
Yeah. So very good question. So first of all, for the viewers who may not be aware, this campaign is taking place 10 years after the events of Mass Effect Season 1. So it's a little bit of a 10-year jump. And I specifically chose this campaign focused on the Red Galaxy because there was a lot of political things going on in the Red Galaxy, both galaxy-wide as well as locally in specific planets. So, for example, the obvious thing is, in the Red Galaxy, as you know, synthetic life was destroyed, and based on what was going on in the first session of Season 1, it's illegal. It is illegal for anyone to try to create synthetic life again, which is why we have the FOTG, the Friends of the Galaxy, trying to do things at least seemingly through the appropriate channels to try to politically get a law passed or amended so that they can bring back synthetic life again into the galaxy. As many people may have remembered from the epilogue, Salo is working on Geth 2.0 because he currently has BR0 with him, who is BR0 being the only Geth that exists in that galaxy, mostly because Salo brought BR0 into the Red Galaxy. So it'd be very, very likely that your characters might have to deal with that. Deal with these Geth 2.0, maybe. Other thing that's happening, things on Tuchanka are very, very, very dicey because Arkara is right now the official leader of the Krogan on Tuchanka, and she is trying to kind of do what Eve did in Mass Effect 3, trying to regain and rebuild the Krogan so that they're not just testosteroningly headbutting each other all the time and warring with each other, and trying to be a little bit more civilized and embrace how the Krogan were before, because they did have like grand temples and civilizations. Kiwi, grand temples and old civilizations. On to Chanka. Into Chanka.
Hint.
Hint.
Did you get the hint?
That's the kind of for adventure.
It's like Navi, just like, hey, listen.
Hey, listen. There are a lot of Krogan don't agree with Arkara's approach to regaining the greatness of the Krogan, because they interpret that in a different way and by different means. So there's a lot of unrest right now that's going on in Chachanka. Some people are siding with Arkara. Some people sort of have broken off and are not really accepting Arkara and her way of doing things. So you guys may or may not get into that mess.
Ooh, that's got me
boy.
excited.
That's going to be fun.
I don't know about you guys, but I've developed a sort like in the last year, I've developed a sort of taste for lots of tension and political drama, considering like the climate we're in now. And so I've just been having that urge to sink my teeth into something that's really tense. Like yeah. Sorry about that.
Fun.
So I will probably leave it up to you to see if there's any influence from you guys as far as that goes. But we'll see what happens.
Watch as we fuck everything up.
Civil War onto Chonka, Geth are taking over the galaxy again, and we're just like, it's cool.
Humanity has been infected with a virus that's like basically the Genophage 2.0.
Oh, this is fine. This is fine.
We're giving you lots of ideas.
Yeah.
Feel free to run with them.
Oh, that's a very good. So that was a very good question, Mikhail. Yes, Asher, you have a question.
Yeah. I think I asked this question before in the chat, so let me change it.
You can ask me. You can ask me again, because the viewers don't know what you asked me in the chat.
Right.
So if you want to ask me, I can answer it for you, so the viewers know what you asked me.
So before I asked, who was the
Shadow Broker?
The Shadow Broker in the Red
Yes.
Universe. But I'm also interested in how much of the characters or the NPCs from the previous campaign are going to be in this one. How much are we going to see them?
So any of the characters from season 1 who ended up in the Red Galaxy, I've already officially invited to participate at some point as a guest in this campaign. So that's Malik, I believe that is Malik, that is Nell, or Awkward Templar, that is Quentin, that is Arkara, or Mistiani, rather. I felt like there was a fifth person.
Eric?
Who's in red. Eric is in blue.
Ooh.
Sesepia is in blue.
All right.
Damn, I wanted to restart the Sesepia sync ship. That was my end goal.
Sync Sepia. Yes.
Sync Sepia. I wanted to restart that because that Trissy girl, she can go kick to the curb.
Wow.
I was very invested in that ship while I was watching that show.
I've been invested in a lot of. Well, to be fair, I know how you feel, Mikhail, because I was invested in a lot of other ships throughout previous campaigns that never quite worked, but it happens. It happens. So
Yeah, Otto still.
Is it Anar by chance? Is that the other one from the Red
Anar,
Galaxy?
yes, Anar is there too.
Yeah, there we go.
Anar
That's
is there
the one.
too, and of course, that means there are also NPCs that are in red as well. So you might see NPCs, but I have invited all of those players to participate, and it really is up to them if they're interested. I didn't want to force anyone to play if they didn't want to, but they've all been invited to. So we will see. As far as how long will they be playing for, at least one session. I don't know. It's too early for me to be able to say how many sessions they'll each participate in, but at least one if they're interested.
Watch as everyone becomes a part of the main player group in the campaign. Everyone comes in and we're all like
Everyone just dies.
So
That's
many
just it.
Yeah.
people.
Other questions? These are good ones. These are very good ones.
Did you have one, Kiwi?
Well, it's not really questions. It's more like kind of a reflection on our group, or our character all have very different upbringings, very different. They are in very different situations, and I really wonder how we will all come together.
Okay, so I have an idea of how all of you will be in the same place at the same time, relatively naturally. I feel like it'll be more fun to wait and not tell you that until it actually happens, because I feel like it'll be more fun that way.
I entirely agree with that statement.
But
I'm looking forward to it.
I think you guys will have fun. I think you guys will have fun with how you guys will be in the same place at the same time.
Is it a
probably.
dating event?
Nah. I want to mention the taboo topic, the one that gets your neck all rattled and other places rattled. Oh, that sounded bad. I'm sorry. But character deaths, player character deaths. How tense in that regard should we be?
So I'm glad you asked me that question, because in previous campaigns, for example, with the Dragon Age Season 2 campaign, the way that the story was set up, you kind of it's kind of like expected for all of the characters to survive at least till the very end, because they were chosen. So since they were the chosen ones, then it wouldn't make a lot of sense if they didn't fulfill what Destiny said they're supposed to fulfill. Since then, I have made it a point not to make a story based on that sort of destiny. So what I'm trying to say is there isn't anything story-wise that is motivating me to keep your characters alive the entire way through. So if your character does die, your character is going to be dead. So
We're not anime
We all
protagonists.
die. Session 1.
I will hope that if your character is going to die at some point during this campaign, I will hope that we at least are able to get enough out of their story before it happens in a fulfilling way. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you get to a point where the session was very central, like let's say, Dia Irons it was a very Dia Irons heavy session, and we got to resolve a lot of things about her story-wise, you're probably not safe.
So what you're telling me, Hark, is
My story's not been told. Yeah, it's like my story's been told. More of my story could be told, but it doesn't necessarily have to, which means your character could die. So
what you're telling me is no anime plot armor for us.
Yeah, none of you guys will have plot armor this time. I am going to be a lot stricter in that if you die, you die. However, as a GM, I also try to make it so that if you really have to mess up a lot in order to die. Like, you really have to either make ridiculously stupid decisions, and I also don't want the death of your character to be determined by a dice roll, or by a single dice roll, because I think that's silly. So that is what I'm going to promise to you guys, is if you die, it's either because you failed multiple dice rolls, or your character just put themselves in a situation where
They can't escape.
They can't escape, and anything short of a Deus Ex Machina, if that's what the right word is, anything short of that, which I try really hard not to do, anything short of a Deus Ex Machina it's not going to save you. So just be aware of that.
I'd like
So
to
don't be stupid,
forewarn
is what you're telling me.
everyone, I roll a lot of natural ones. I roll a lot of natural ones, so if you don't get to know my character for long, I'm so sorry.
Rest in peace, Dia. We have known you 20 minutes, maybe.
I mean, as I said, one of my character has been dubbed the bad role king. So
If your character does die, you're not kicked out of the campaign. You will be invited to re-roll another character, unless you don't want to re-roll a character. Then,
Just be the
It'll be
weird
like,
person who
"Oh, those
stays in
other
the call.
finalists that we had."
but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
good question though. Any other questions?
So in one of the episodes when in the season 1, when the players go to Tuchanka and Anar is trying to get inside the I think it was the camp or something like that he was trying to fight for some reason with the guard, and Liam Nathaniel Musi appeared from out of nowhere. That was planned, or that was something to give him a hand and help him out to get inside?
Liam's appearance in that instance was completely me ad-libbing. So he wasn't pre-planned. It just seemed like the situation kind of opened up for him to be able to appear. And I'm sure that if you're interested in a character like Liam to appear, he probably will. Also, since you mentioned Tuchanka, I should also mention that your characters probably by this point have heard about the McAuto's franchise. By this point, his restaurants is everywhere, and everybody loves McAuto's.
Could I get a question?
Yes.
How hard is it for Nathan to get a reservation on the Citadel Mikhados? How hard is that for him? Considering
I think it's easy for you.
Yeah,
I think
easy
it's
for
easy
me.
for
But everyone
you.
else is just I can't get a reservation for 2
Right.
years or something like that.
I think for you, at least, especially depending on who the host or maitre d' is, you can probably just walk past the line.
He probably flirts his way in.
He wouldn't. No. He wouldn't do either of those things. He'd call ahead of time and be like, "Hey, if there's a reservation cancelled, or if there's
That is
something going
sweet.
on." He's not that kind of famous.
Well, that's good.
Because he's not used to being famous. He's used to being a kid. So,
I don't think any of you have been to the original Mikados in Tuchanka, because that one's really hard to get into.
I don't even know if Nathan's ever actually been on Tuchanka, considering the fact that there's probably not a Biolopal team on that planet anymore.
I don't think so.
I think maybe the only person in character who's probably been on Tuchanka might be Vito, right?
Yeah,
Possibly.
but considering the tensions between Krogans and Solarians, I'm not entirely sure his dig team has ever been there legally.
Legally. Are you sure you're not Nathan Drake? More of your style over, Indiana Jones. Is this legal? I don't know.
You got really buffed up arms so you can just pull yourself across any platform.
A buffed up Solarian. Now that's a sight.
Yeah.
It'd be a really interesting character concept. Just
Imagine a Solarian with ADD. Whew. It's going to be 5,000 words a minute.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I have a question for the group.
Go ahead.
So, who are we shipping with who?
Oh, that's an important question. That's a very important
I
question.
think I'm
Right,
gonna
so
wait
I'm-
for session 1
I'm
to
gimmick with Hark.
What?
Aw.
Dia is definitely going to steal Otto's husband or something like that. Straight up steal Otto's husband from him. Nathan will either end up with
Otto's husband or Vito's husband?
No, Vito's husband. Sorry.
Vito's husband. Otto doesn't have a husband.
Yeah,
I think Otto currently is single. Currently.
Nathan
Oh,
is
no.
definitely he's open, but I don't know who he's going to end up with. I'm not going to put anything out there or say he's totally looking for somebody. He might end up with somebody. He might end up single still at the end of the campaign, assuming he survives. But
Yes.
it's entirely up to Hark giving me NPCs or player characters.
I already have 5 NPCs picked out. So
Would you say that one of them will be Nathan's type?
I
not.
think
Type.
I think 3 of them could be. 3 of them could be. And it's a good mix. It's a good mix of males and females in the NPCs. And
I approve of this
without specifying which of them are gender-wise, I think 3 of them could be. But you could surprise me, and maybe you might be interested in the other 2. I don't know. So
might happen. Never know.
could surprise me.
But as they say, I want you and I love you, but there ain't no way I can never love you. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
There you go. And when I pick NPCs, because I know the type of players play in my campaign, when I pick NPCs, I make it a point to make them all single and all openly available to any type of person, if that makes sense.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally okay with affairs.
With who?
With affairs and anything like that. If we want to get like extra steamy.
Oh God. Too much steam.
As long as the players are okay with it. Your characters might not be okay with it, but if the players are okay with it, it's fine.
Aster's gonna have to get like window wipers for his glasses at all the steam. Just
oh my god.
Things like that does happen in the real world, and I think it's a realistic thing to have happen. It might be a sensitive subject for certain people, but all I care about is whether or not it's something that the players are comfortable with. And if so, great. If not, then we have Vito is married. I believe Vito is very committed. But if you are looking for something possibly, I would definitely speak to Kiwi about that privately and see how Kiwi feels about that.
Well, Nathan isn't overly interested in stealing anyone's husband / wife / girlfriend / boyfriend, so
we'll see how drunk Dia gets. We'll see how drunk she gets.
Just how drunk Dia gets is entirely dependent on
how drunk she gets. How much vodka she's taken in her system.
Oh God. I can't think of any questions, to be honest. I'm just looking forward to playing. Like I want to dive in. I want to go for it. I want to have some fun.
I know Astra has been asking tons of questions on Discord. So I don't know if there were any of them that you wanted me to answer here, Astra, or not. But that's up to you.
I have one, but I don't know if I want it to be answered.
Okay. Because you don't want me to spoil anything.
No, I think that me asking you questions maybe biased you a bit towards certain things, maybe or maybe not.
That's up to you.
I want it to happen. It happens
naturally.
To happen naturally.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Great. Set up. Oh, sorry. We have a.
You have a surprise call.
We have a surprise guest.
Oh.
You want to sit here?
Hi. Don't be a thought. It's too early.
It's never too early to be a thought.
So, Colin just wanted to say hi because I've actually been talking to you about you guys because he asks about my campaigns every once in a while, and he was just very curious about who was auditioning and who all the characters were. So I actually have told him all about your characters.
Oh,
is that right?
Oh wow! Oh damn.
But here, Colin, do you want to tell them like about maybe some of the characters that stood out to you?
Well, I think I know each of the names. I'm trying to identify based on visuals. So Mikey would be.
I love how Mikey's the first person he's.
That's what I thought. Well, yeah. Wait, which?
That's Mikey.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yes, I was correct.
Yes.
And you're a biotic ball.
Yes,
biotic ball. You're a biotic ball, and then. Who's Astra? Well, the problem is they all have heads and they're not unshackled AI, so it's hard to tell who they look like.
He remembers. He remembers this.
And then
Astra's, which one?
No.
Astra's the one on the far left. That's Astra.
Okay, cool.
That's Astra.
Oh, nice.
So Astra's unshackled AI. You got it right.
It reminded me of Deadpool where they had the person. So where the person's like a ghost, you can't see them. It's kind of a throwaway joke, but how does that work? Like you just sort of float around?
Yeah, I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah, he floats around. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And then for Miguel is interesting because you would associate like a drag queen to be like in certain traditionally like or aliens would seem to always be an other, but the character seems to be an other within a group of aliens. So that's interesting. So yeah.
Thank you.
And then do you remember anything about the last one?
Well,
Kiwi's the last one.
Oh yeah. Hello. Well, I got confused because there was Kate who was not there.
Oh yeah, no, we were talking about yeah. I mentioned Quirky's character, who I love.
I remember.
No,
I do remember because it reminded me. So you were a Indiana Jones intellectual alien, and it reminded me of a Radiohead Subterranean Homesick Alien. There's a song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is based on the Bob Dylan song originally, but that's what it reminded me of. So
you guys should feel really honored because I told Colin about your characters like 2 weeks ago. And he still remembers your characters.
Are you gonna give us our Tonys?
That's funny. Well, I mean, to be fair, I take notes on everything, but that's okay. It's still, yeah.
He's a teacher, so he's supposed to remember names and people.
Yeah.
And, you know.
How long is your campaign supposed to be going for?
A year.
Oh wow, nice.
Do you have any questions for the? Or even like a question about he's never played tabletop gaming, so like any questions about? Any question really? Any question? Oh man. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Now it's Colin's turn to get in the hot seat.
Shut-ins, don't worry.
No. This is easier. Ask me a question. I can talk about anything. Ask me a question, I'll answer it. I don't know because I don't. And then I don't know. Do any of you have questions? I don't know.
What's your favorite subject you teach?
That's interesting. I guess English and PE, which are the two primary ones that I do, because I taught English for like 10 years, and now I support special ed kids in lots of classes, including PE. And literally, what I was doing in my room before, and what I'm gonna have to do for most of the rest of the day, is for a camp that I'm doing over the summer, where half the day I'm doing English, half the day I'm doing games, including athletic and non-athletic games. So yeah.
Good question.
Cool.
Well, I can ask you. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask. So now I have something to actually ask you. What are any of your favorite subjects?
Mine is English. I actually write books, but I do enjoy I enjoy my time spent lifting weights and working out. I enjoy that, but I was not actually a big PE kid when I was in school. It's like when I left school and I found time to go to the gym, that's when I actually got into getting into being fit and all that kind of stuff. So I'm that weird kid who was like really overweight in school, but then left school and got fit.
Oh, that's good.
Mikey, as you can see, is very shy.
Yeah. Well, most Irish people are. So what about for I don't know, for Michael, what was your favorite subject?
School for me was like upside down shift sort of. I never really got into it very well, and so most of the time I was like wearing this really old dusty parka and just huddling in a corner or sleeping on the floor during like big break times, and it'll be like that person who everyone knows sleeps on the floor by the lockers, by the computer lab, and doesn't move. I wasn't really involved much in school, unfortunately.
Fair enough. And Astra and Kiwi? Well,
it's probably not gonna come as a surprise, but I'm a history buff, so history classes.
I love that. That's my second favorite. Or well, I mean third, I guess, but yeah. Wait, why is that not Indiana a surprise? Jones. Oh, Indiana Jones and intellectual. Okay, cool.
And Astra?
For me, it would be, I would like to say art, but for some reason art in school is not that great because it teaches you all about art and in a theoretical way. So maybe computer science or one of those.
What,
HTML is a bitch to deal with. Let's just say that right now. I hate HTML. It can go die in a fire.
Wow.
I spent hours trying to make a circular tab for a website for a school project. It never worked. God damn it.
Anyway, I don't want to take up all your time, but it was nice to meet you and know, like, now I know, visual and yeah.
You know what? I'm spending hours on end
Yes.
on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who
and
I'm with.
Who was going flirting with your husband all day.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike's gonna be flirty. He's very flirty, but he flirts with everybody.
You know,
It's totally gonna be. It's Mikhail. Totally Mikhail. It's not me. Never
Yeah,
me.
it's totally me.
I'm too innocent for that.